Have you ever felt emotionally drained after dealing with someone negative? As if their words and actions left a weight on your mind, making it harder to focus, to relax, to feel at peace? Toxic people can disrupt our mental and emotional well-being, leaving us frustrated, anxious, and sometimes even powerless. But what if you could protect yourself? What if you could navigate these situations with clarity, strength, and complete emotional control? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers powerful insights on how to deal with difficult people without letting them affect your inner peace. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus believe that we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we respond. By applying their wisdom, you can develop unshakable resilience against negativity. In this video, you will discover 13 Stoic-inspired strategies to handle toxic people with grace, confidence, and composure. These principles will help you set boundaries, stay calm under pressure, and maintain complete control over your emotions, no matter who you are dealing with. Watch until the end to learn how to master these techniques and protect your mental well-being. And if you want to develop a stronger, more resilient mindset, subscribe to the channel for more insights on personal growth and mental strength. Now, let's begin. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to navigate life's challenges with reason, resilience, and inner peace. It is not about suppressing emotions or becoming indifferent, but about mastering our responses to the things we cannot control. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the idea that external events and other people's actions are beyond our control. What truly matters is how we choose to react. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that no matter how toxic or negative someone may be, their behavior only affects you if you allow it to. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, warned about the dangers of giving power to others over our emotions. He believed that anger and frustration come not from the actions of others, but from our own judgments about those actions. When we change our perspective, we take back control. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor of Rome, practiced this mindset every day. In his meditations, he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength." Instead of reacting emotionally to toxic people, he focused on maintaining his own peace and acting with wisdom. This is the essence of Stoicism. We cannot stop people from being manipulative, negative, or harmful, but we can decide how much influence they have over us. When we detach from their toxicity and choose a rational response, we reclaim our freedom. Now that you understand the Stoic approach to dealing with toxic people, let's explore 13 powerful strategies to apply this wisdom in your daily life. 1. Identify and understand the threat. The first step in dealing with toxic people is awareness. You cannot protect yourself from something you do not recognize. Toxic individuals come in many forms, and each has a unique way of draining your emotional energy, manipulating your reactions, and disrupting your peace. Some of the most common toxic personalities include the narcissist. They crave admiration and control. At first, they may appear charming and charismatic, but over time, their self-centered nature becomes clear. They dismiss your needs and use others to feed their ego. The manipulator. These individuals twist situations to serve their own interests. They might use guilt, deception, or flattery to influence your actions. Their goal is to control you while making you feel as if you're making your own choices. The pessimist. Constantly focus on the negative. These people drain your mental energy. They reject solutions, amplify problems, and bring those around them into their cycle of negativity. The gossiper. They thrive on drama and division, spreading rumors and manipulating social circles. Their words can create unnecessary conflict and tension in relationships. The victim. They refuse to take responsibility for their lives, always blaming others and expecting sympathy without ever seeking solutions. Their emotional weight can become exhausting over time. The aggressor. Openly hostile. These individuals use intimidation, anger, and insults to dominate conversations and relationships. Their goal is to make others feel weak and powerless. Epictetus teaches us, it is not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. This means that while we cannot always control the actions of toxic people, we can control our perception and response to them. Recognizing these toxic behaviors is a crucial step in maintaining your emotional strength. Instead of reacting emotionally or feeling victimized, observe their actions with detachment. Once you understand their patterns, you can prevent their influence from affecting you deeply. This leads us to the next critical step, establishing strong boundaries. 2. Set clear boundaries. Once you have identified a toxic person, the next step is setting firm and clear boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what behavior you will and will not accept. Without them, toxic people will continue to push your limits, draining your emotional energy and disturbing your peace. Why are boundaries important? Boundaries serve as your personal shield. They protect your mental well-being, prevent manipulation, and establish self-respect. A person without boundaries becomes vulnerable to constant stress, guilt, and exhaustion caused by others. Seneca said, "Associate only with those who improve you. If someone harms your character, avoid them." This does not mean you must cut people off immediately, but it does mean you must limit their ability to influence your emotions. How to set strong boundaries. Be clear and direct. Toxic individuals often test your limits. When setting boundaries, avoid vague or indirect statements. Instead of saying, "I don't really like when you do that," say, "I won't tolerate being spoken to that way." Clarity removes confusion and prevents manipulation. Use I statements. This makes your boundaries sound firm yet non-confrontational. Instead of accusing, say something like, "I feel overwhelmed when conversations are always negative. I prefer to focus on solutions." This approach communicates your limits without escalating the situation. Stay consistent. If you set a boundary but fail to enforce it, toxic people will learn they can still manipulate you. If you say, "I won't tolerate being spoken to disrespectfully," and then allow it to continue, your boundary loses its power. Stand firm. Limit engagement. If someone constantly disrespects your boundaries, reduce the time and energy you give them. This can mean keeping conversations short, declining invitations, or even creating physical distance. Examples of boundaries in different situations. At work, if a colleague constantly unloads negativity on you, say, "I prefer to keep work conversations productive. Let's focus on finding solutions." With family, if a family member criticizes you constantly, respond with, "I value our relationship, but I won't participate in discussions that bring me down." In friendships, if a friend manipulates you into doing things you don't want to do, say, "I need to make decisions that align with my priorities. I hope you understand." Establishing boundaries is not about being rude or dismissive. It is about protecting your energy and well-being. A person with strong boundaries earns respect and maintains inner peace, while those without them remain vulnerable to toxic influences. Toxic people often resist boundaries because they lose control over you. They may push back, test your limits, or try to make you feel guilty. Stay firm. Over time, they will either adjust their behavior or fade away from your life. By identifying toxic traits and setting strong boundaries, you take the first essential steps toward emotional freedom. 3. Be like a rock. Become uninteresting to the manipulator. Toxic people thrive on emotional reactions. Whether they seek control, validation, or just the satisfaction of getting under your skin, their power lies in your response. They push buttons, provoke arguments, and create unnecessary drama, all in an attempt to elicit an emotional reaction from you. But what happens when you stop giving them what they want? The gray rock method is a powerful psychological technique designed to neutralize toxic interactions. The idea is simple. Make yourself as uninteresting as a dull, lifeless rock. Instead of engaging in emotional reactions, you remain neutral, detached, and unresponsive. How the gray rock method works. Give short, unemotional responses. Toxic people feed off engagement. By responding with monotone, non-engaging phrases, you remove their source of energy. Instead of reacting with frustration or defense, respond with, "I see. That's interesting. Okay. I don't know." Avoid giving personal information. Manipulators use details about your life to control or criticize you. Keep your responses vague and avoid revealing anything personal. If they ask, "How was your weekend?" instead of opening up, simply say, "It was fine." Show no emotional reaction. Whether they insult you, guilt trip you, or try to provoke a reaction, remain calm and indifferent. Do not argue, defend yourself, or show frustration. Let their words fall flat. Keep conversations brief. Toxic people love dragging conversations out to keep their control over you. Keep interactions as short as possible and disengage when necessary. Why the gray rock method works. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters." Toxic individuals have no real power unless you give it to them. They rely on emotional engagement, whether it's anger, sadness, or even excitement. By refusing to play into their tactics, you starve them of their influence. Over time, they will realize that you are no longer an entertaining or easy target, and they will lose interest in trying to manipulate you. The key is consistency. If you react emotionally even once, they will see it as an opportunity and push harder next time. Stay firm, stay neutral, and protect your inner peace. But what happens when a manipulator refuses to give up? That's where the broken record technique comes in. For the power of repetition, the broken record technique. Some toxic people won't accept your boundaries easily. They will argue, manipulate, and pressure you into changing your mind. When they see that their usual tactics aren't working, they may increase their efforts, hoping to wear you down. This is where the broken record technique becomes essential. Inspired by Stoic principles of rational thinking and self-discipline, this technique helps you stand your ground without getting dragged into pointless debates. How the broken record technique works. Decide your position. Before engaging with a toxic person, be clear about your boundary. Ask yourself, what am I willing to accept and what am I not? Repeat your message calmly and firmly. No matter how many times they try to persuade or manipulate you, stick to the same simple statement. If they keep asking you for something, respond with, "I understand, but I won't be able to do that. I hear you, but my decision is final. I respect your opinion, but I've already made my choice." Do not engage in justification or explanation. Manipulators love arguments because they create openings for emotional pressure. The more you explain, the more they will find ways to push back. Keep your response short and repetitive. Remain emotionally detached. Toxic people will test your patience. They may escalate their behavior, raise their voice, or attempt to guilt trip you. Stay calm and composed. The more unaffected you appear, the sooner they will realize their tactics are useless. Why the broken record technique works. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This philosophy aligns perfectly with the broken record technique. Instead of getting caught in manipulative mind games, you stand by your truth and do not waver. The more predictable and unwavering your response, the more frustrated the manipulator becomes. Eventually, they will realize they cannot control you and will stop trying. 5. Don't take the bait. Toxic people are masters of provocation. They push buttons, make cutting remarks, and manipulate conversations with one goal: to trigger an emotional reaction. They know that once you react, they gain control. Whether through anger, frustration, or defensiveness, your response fuels their behavior. They feed on your energy, using it to continue the cycle of negativity. But what if you simply refuse to react? Epictetus teaches us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. This means that they can only affect you if you let them. The key to breaking free is Stoic indifference. How to develop Stoic indifference to provocations. Recognize the trap. Before reacting, pause and analyze the situation. Ask yourself, is this person deliberately trying to provoke me? Recognizing the pattern gives you control over your response. Detach from their words. Understand that their negativity is not about you. It's about them. People project their insecurities, frustrations, and personal struggles onto others. By not taking it personally, you remove their power over you. See the bigger picture. Ask yourself, will this matter a week from now? A year from now? Most provocations are insignificant in the grand scheme of life. By shifting your focus, you weaken their ability to disturb your peace. Master your emotional response. Toxic individuals expect anger, defensiveness, or frustration. By responding with calmness and neutrality, you break their cycle. Instead of saying, "Why do you always do this?" simply say, "Noted, a toxic person cannot manipulate a reaction that does not exist." But to take this even further, you can use the most powerful tool of all, silence. 6. The art of non-reaction. Silence is one of the most powerful forms of control. It is often more effective than any argument because it removes the emotional fuel that toxic people rely on. Most people believe that when attacked, they must defend themselves, explain their position, or fight back. But this is exactly what toxic individuals want. They are looking for an emotional response to validate their influence over you. Marcus Aurelius said, "You always have the option of having no opinion." This is the essence of non-reaction. You do not need to respond to every insult, every passive-aggressive comment, or every attempt to manipulate you. By choosing not to engage, you reclaim your power. Why silence is so effective? It breaks their cycle of control. Toxic people expect a reaction. When you remain silent, you disrupt their pattern. Without engagement, they lose interest over time. It communicates strength and composure. An emotional outburst shows that they have affected you. Silence, on the other hand, demonstrates unshakable confidence. It tells them, "You do not have power over me." It forces them to face their own behavior. When someone receives no reaction, they are left alone with their words. This creates an uncomfortable self-reflection that many manipulators try to avoid. It preserves your energy. Engaging in negativity drains mental and emotional resources. Silence protects your inner peace by refusing to invest in unnecessary conflict. Practical examples of the power of silence. 1. A manipulative colleague. A co-worker constantly criticizes your work, waiting for you to defend yourself or argue. Instead of reacting, you remain silent and continue working. Result: they grow frustrated because they are not getting the response they want. Over time, they stop trying. 2. A passive-aggressive family member. A family member makes a sarcastic remark about your choices, hoping to trigger a debate. Instead of explaining yourself, you offer no response. Result: the conversation dies. They realize their words have no effect. 3. A toxic friend who guilt trips you. A friend pressures you into doing something you don't want to do, saying, "If you really cared, you'd do this for me." Instead of arguing, you stay silent or simply say, "I've already made my decision." Result: they see that emotional manipulation will not work on you. Silence is not weakness. It is a conscious decision to protect your peace. By combining Stoic indifference with the art of non-reaction, you create an emotional fortress that toxic people cannot penetrate. 7. Reduce your exposure. One of the most effective ways to protect yourself from toxic people is to limit your exposure to them. The less time you spend around negativity, the less influence it will have on you. But in many situations, avoiding toxic individuals completely is not possible. They may be co-workers, family members, or people in your social circle. Instead of direct confrontation, you can use subtle strategies to create distance and minimize their impact on your life. How to limit contact without conflict. Control the duration of your interactions. If you must engage, keep conversations short and purposeful. Use polite but firm exit strategies such as, "I have something to finish. We'll talk later. I have to get back to work. Take care." Redirect conversations away from negativity. If a toxic person constantly complains or gossips, change the subject. If they persist, disengage politely by saying, "I'd rather focus on something productive right now." Use physical and digital boundaries. If possible, avoid sitting next to or spending unnecessary time around toxic coworkers or acquaintances. Online, mute or unfollow people who bring unnecessary negativity into your life. Establish emotional distance. You may not be able to remove someone from your life completely, but you can detach emotionally. See them as background noise, not as a force that deserves your energy. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By reducing exposure to negativity, you give yourself space to focus on what truly matters. However, avoiding negativity is only part of the solution. To truly thrive, you must also surround yourself with positivity. 8. Surround yourself with positive people. Reducing exposure to toxic individuals creates space in your life. The question is, what will you fill that space with? Just as negativity drains your energy, a strong and supportive social circle can replenish it. Stoics understood the importance of choosing companions wisely. They believe that the company you keep directly influences your mindset, actions, and overall well-being. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Surrounding yourself with positive, virtuous individuals strengthens your ability to remain calm, rational, and focus on what truly matters. How to build a positive social circle. Identify supportive and uplifting people. Look for individuals who inspire, encourage, and challenge you to improve. Good friends and mentors provide guidance, perspective, and emotional support. Prioritize quality over quantity. A small circle of trustworthy, kind, and strong-minded individuals is more valuable than a large group of negative influences. Seek relationships that bring mutual growth and respect. Engage in communities that share your values. Join groups, organizations, or online communities where positivity and personal development are encouraged. Whether the professional network, a book club, or a group focused on self-improvement, being around like-minded people helps reinforce a strong mindset. Be the person you want to attract. Positivity is magnetic. If you cultivate patience, kindness, and wisdom in yourself, you will naturally draw similar people into your life. Show appreciation for those who uplift you and invest in meaningful relationships. The Stoics believe that who you choose to spend time with shapes your character. Just as reducing toxic influences protects your peace, surrounding yourself with strong, positive individuals elevates your life. By balancing distance from negativity with meaningful connections, you create an environment where you can grow, thrive, and remain mentally resilient. 9. Prioritize self-care. To effectively deal with toxic people and maintain emotional resilience, you must prioritize your own well-being. Just as a warrior sharpens their sword before battle, you must strengthen your mind and body to withstand external negativity. Self-care is not a luxury. It is a necessity for mental clarity, emotional balance, and inner strength. When you take care of yourself, toxic people lose their ability to drain your energy. Seneca said, "We must take care of the body if we are to ensure that the mind is strong and vigorous." A well-maintained body supports a disciplined and resilient mind, allowing you to navigate challenges with greater ease. Essential self-care practices. Prioritize physical health. Regular exercise improves not only physical strength, but also mental resilience. Activities like strength training, yoga, or even daily walks help release stress and enhance focus. Physical movement increases energy levels, making it easier to stay composed in stressful situations. Maintain proper sleep and nutrition. Sleep is essential for emotional regulation. A well-rested mind is less reactive and more capable of rational thinking. A balanced diet fuels your brain, preventing mood swings and fatigue that can make you more vulnerable to toxic influences. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Stoics practice self-reflection and mindfulness to develop emotional control. Meditation strengthens the ability to observe emotions without reacting impulsively. Taking just a few minutes each day to breathe deeply and refocus can create a powerful mental shield against negativity. Engage in activities that recharge you. Make time for hobbies, learning, and moments of solitude. Activities that bring you joy and relaxation reinforce your mental well-being, making it harder for external negativity to affect you. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Know where you can go is more peaceful than your own soul." When you prioritize self-care, you build a foundation of strength that allows you to face life's challenges with composure and confidence. However, even when you take care of yourself, toxic people may still try to undermine your confidence. This is where understanding that the problem is not you becomes essential. 10. Remember, the problem is not you. Toxic people often project their own insecurities and frustrations onto others. Their negativity, criticism, and manipulation are not reflections of your worth. They are expressions of their own internal struggles. It is human nature to take things personally, but Stoicism teaches us to detach from external opinions and remain grounded in our own self-awareness. Epictetus reminds us, if someone speaks badly of you, do not defend yourself against their words, but instead live in a way that disproves them. How to separate external criticism from your self-image. Recognize that their words reflect them, not you. When someone insults, belittles, or criticizes you unfairly, ask yourself, is this really about me or is it about them? Most toxic behavior comes from their own fears, failures, or insecurities. Do not let their words define your self-worth. Your value is not determined by someone else's opinion. Just because someone sees you in a negative light does not mean their perception is true. Practice emotional detachment when faced with criticism or negativity. Step back and observe instead of reacting. Imagine their words as passing clouds, temporary and powerless unless you let them affect you. Strengthen your own beliefs about yourself. Keep a strong sense of who you are and what you stand for. If a toxic person tries to make you feel inadequate, remind yourself of your values, strengths, and achievements. Marcus Aurelius advised, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. The power lies in your interpretation of their words, not in the words themselves. By practicing self-care and emotional detachment, you ensure that toxic individuals cannot shake your confidence or disturb your inner peace. 11. Do not try to change toxic people. One of the most frustrating truths about dealing with toxic individuals is that you cannot change them. No amount of reasoning, patience, or effort will transform someone who is unwilling to change themselves. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what is within our control. Try to change another person is an exercise in futility because their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors belong to them, not to you. Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This means that instead of wasting energy on fixing someone else, you should redirect that energy towards strengthening yourself. How to offer help without becoming an involuntary therapist. Recognize that change must come from within. If someone does not see a problem with their behavior, they will not change, no matter how much you try to help. Accept that some people choose to remain the way they are, even when it harms them or others. Set boundaries around emotional labor. Toxic individuals often drain others emotionally, expecting them to be a constant source of support, advice, or validation. If someone repeatedly refuses to change but continues to burden you with their problems, it is not your responsibility to fix them. Help in small, non-draining ways. If you truly care about the person, offer guidance without attachment to the outcome. Recommend books, resources, or professional help, but do not take on the role of a personal therapist. Accept that some people will never change. No matter how much potential you see in someone, their growth is their choice, not yours. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Instead of focusing on changing others, focus on being the best version of yourself. When you stop trying to change toxic people, you reclaim your peace. But in some cases, limiting your efforts is not enough. When toxicity becomes persistent and destructive, walking away becomes the only solution. 12. Know when to walk away. There comes a point when tolerating toxic behavior does more harm than good. If someone repeatedly violates your boundaries, manipulates, or drains your energy, it may be time to remove them from your life. Walking away is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-respect. Seneca wrote, associate only with those who make you better. If a relationship consistently brings you down instead of lifting you up, it is no longer serving your well-being. Signs that it's time to cut ties. Your boundaries are constantly disrespected. If someone refuses to respect your limits despite clear communication, they are showing a lack of regard for your well-being. The relationship is one-sided. If you give support, patience, and understanding, but receive only negativity and manipulation in return, it is an unhealthy dynamic. They sabotage your growth and happiness. If someone criticizes, undermines, or discourages your progress, they do not belong in your life. You feel drained after every interaction. Relationships should bring balance, not exhaustion. If someone constantly depletes your energy, distance yourself. How to walk away with dignity and without guilt. Make a clear decision. Once you recognize that a relationship is toxic, accept that leaving is the best course of action. Exit without drama. There is no need for anger, long explanations, or revenge. Simply step away with calmness and finality. Limit or cut communication. Reduce contact gradually if needed, or if the situation requires. Cut all ties completely. Let go of guilt. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Choosing your peace over toxicity is not selfish. It is necessary. Letting go is difficult, but staying in toxic relationships is far more damaging. By walking away when necessary, you create space for healthier connections and a stronger sense of inner peace. 13. Practice Stoic forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about excusing toxic behavior or allowing someone back into your life. It is about releasing yourself from the burden of resentment. When you hold on to anger, bitterness, or grudges, you are the one who suffers. The person who wronged you may have moved on, but you remain trapped in a cycle of negativity. Seneca warned, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Forgiveness is not a gift to the other person. It is a gift to yourself. The true meaning of forgiveness in Stoicism. Forgiveness is letting go of emotional burden. Resentment chains you to the past and keeps you emotionally attached to the person who hurt you. When you forgive, you free yourself from their influence over your thoughts and emotions. You are not approving their actions. You are releasing their power over you. Forgiveness does not mean you must reconcile or forget what happened. It means that you refuse to let their actions continue to affect your peace. Holding on to anger hurts you, not them. There's an old saying, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Anger and resentment consume your energy while the other person remains unaffected. People act based on their own nature. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today I will meet people who are ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and selfish. They are like this because they do not know the difference between good and evil." Understanding this allows you to detach from personal offense and see toxic behavior as a reflection of their character, not yours. How to cultivate Stoic forgiveness. Acknowledge your feelings without letting them control you. It is natural to feel anger or disappointment, but do not let these emotions define you. Shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did they do this to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this experience?" Recognize that you cannot change the past. No amount of resentment can undo what has happened. The only thing within your control is how you move forward. Decide to let go for your own peace. Forgiveness is a choice, and that choice leads to emotional freedom. It allows you to focus on the present rather than being trapped in past pain. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you practice Stoic forgiveness, you take back control. You refuse to let toxic people or past wounds dictate your emotions. You choose peace over anger, wisdom over resentment, and inner freedom over emotional chains. This is the final and most powerful step in overcoming negativity. Not for their sake, but for yours. You cannot control toxic people, but you can control how you respond to them. Throughout this video, we have explored powerful Stoic strategies to protect your peace and maintain emotional resilience. You have learned to recognize toxic behaviors, set firm boundaries, and become uninteresting to manipulators. You now understand the importance of non-reaction, reducing exposure to negativity, and surrounding yourself with positive influences. You have seen how self-care strengthens your mind and body, and why forgiveness frees you from emotional burdens. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The true key to dealing with toxic people is not changing them, but mastering yourself. Now, I ask you, which of these strategies do you find most useful in your life? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you want to continue strengthening your mindset and developing emotional resilience, subscribe to the channel for more insights on Stoicism and personal growth. Thank you for watching, and remember, your peace is yours to protect.